history attached to the property reflects a maturity that strengthens Liberia's democracy. This movement is not only a testament to CDC's leadership, but also a reminder to all political institutions and citizens that our democracy grows stronger when lawful decisions are honored peacefully.
Today, you have a rebel police director who thinks that he has arrived. And the worst thing about all these people, they all benefited from the magnanimity of George Weah. Ranging from people on the bench of the Supreme Court, they got letters from George Weah. If some of them choose to pay him back with evil, it's up to them. The very Gregory come out today. He worked in the previous administration when Weah came. He also got another letter again. If he chooses to do what he's doing, it's up to him. But one thing I can tell you for sure is this is how we had always been molded. That's how God has already molded Weah and catapult him into success. He will suffer rejection, denigration, humiliation. That has been his life. How can you make somebody who has been down the line their shame? The person has gone through shame. They have gone through disgrace. They have done everything they can. Whatever people thought and were laughing at them, they surmount everything and catapult themselves into becoming someone who is towering that the whole world can look at today. What more can you do? You think you're bringing that person down? You're just hurting yourself. In fact, what you are doing, you are destroying yourself. You know what it takes for you to proud in yourself of being bad? When people are looking for good image, you are happy. In becoming a bad person, George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. A bad person, George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever. Today, you have a rebel police director who thinks that he has arrived. And the worst thing about all these people, they all benefited from the magnanimity of George Weah. Ranging from people on the bench of the Supreme Court, they got letters from George Weah. If some of them choose to pay him back with evil, it's up to them. The very Gregory come out today. He worked in the previous administration when Weah came. He also got another letter again. If he chooses to do what he's doing, it's up to him. But one thing I can tell you for sure is this is how we had always been molded. That's how God has already molded Weah and catapult him into success. He will suffer rejection, denigration, humiliation. That has been his life. How can you make somebody who has been down the line their shame? The person has gone through shame. They have gone through disgrace. They have done everything they can. Whatever people thought and were laughing at them, they surmount everything and catapult themselves into becoming someone who is towering that the whole world can look at today. What more can you do? You think you're bringing that person down? You're just hurting yourself. In fact, what you are doing, you are destroying yourself. You know what it takes for you to proud in yourself of being bad? When people are looking for good image, you are happy. In becoming a bad person, George Weah would never, ever buy in to your tricks. He would never, ever.
Who took the drugs at the airport? How many days did that drug spend at the airport? Who received the drugs? What were the consignments? Because there are allegations that we have over 19 million. They are just discussing 19 million, but as per our information, they have gone 50 million. Took the drugs at the airport. How many days did that drug spend at the airport? Who received the drugs? What were the consignments? Because there are allegations that we have over 19 million. They are just discussing 19 million, but as per our information, they have gone 50 million, and even more than that.
The investigation found that on Friday, June 5th, 6 boxes were prepared for shipment through the cargo system at the Roberts International Airport. The shipment was processed under Ford's description of ordinary goods, declaring it to be Maggie Cube and Lapa. But from the beginning, there were already red flags. Discrepancies in the declared weight of the product, suspicion from the screening images, and conflicting shipment documentation. Because of those discrepancies, the cargo did not leave as planned on June 5th. On Sunday, June 7, 2026, when the boxes were re-scanned and physically inspected, a white powdery substance was discovered concealed in them. A substance was immediately turned over to the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. It was subsequently tested and confirmed to be cocaine. But the investigation did not stop at seizure. The Joint Special Investigative Team examined the cargo trail, the airway bill, the communication, the money trail, the digital evidence, the conduct of the individuals involved, and also the actions taken after the cocaine was discovered.
Before we could become journalists today, we are citizens. If there is no way that our country is safe, we cannot practice in our respective professions. When we are at war, pastors will not be respected to go to church to preach. When we are at war, medical doctors will not be able to go to hospitals except on a coercion or sanitary condition. When we are at war, lawyers will not be able to go to court to practice. That's why when you see these things happening, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are working a profession, you got to step down and protect your country so that that country will provide an avenue for you to be the kind of person that you want to be. And that's where we are now. What happened yesterday was wrong. It's still wrong. And no matter what it is wrong. We are seeing things happening in this country and people are now seeing it as being right because the Asa is there. And these are things that we got to be stand up. To be a patriot, you have to stand first on the side of the law because the politicians will go away. The regime will pass away, but your country will stay. The law will stay. Your patriotism vow will continue to stay on. And these are things that we got to stand up for. It doesn't matter how people feel, what kind of side you want to be on. We just got to speak to the truth, and that is very much important.
His Excellency, George Weah, President of Liberia. Our board noted that His Excellency's victory as the African Political Leader of the Year 2023 is a testament to his contributions to promoting peace, African culture and development, youth and sports development, and advancing Africa's agenda globally. It is also a recognition of his critical role in the infrastructural and socio-economic development of his country as well as his people-friendly policies. He has continued to advocate for peace and free and fair elections in the ECOWAS sub-region, and this was demonstrated by a show of statesmanship and iconic posturing by accepting electoral loss and congratulating the winner. While he arguably had options as a sitting president, he chose the path of honor, peace, and the defense of democracy. His emergence reaffirmed our position that he has remained one of the continent's leading light, as he had continued to demonstrate great faith in the African project, promoting African dignity and helping to change the negative narratives about the continent.
It's another afternoon, people. Thank you so very much that you joined us, Kings 88.5 Real Talk, on this 7th day of July 2026, the reign of Judah Christopher. What a day, another time. Yes. Welcome, people. I'm Sam Andrews. As always, Sam Andrews. Grateful as always, we are to God Almighty, the creator and sustainer of the universe. the God who keeps watch over each and everybody, faithful in all of his ways, never reneging on his promises, but fulfills every word that he uttered in the fullness of time. We are grateful to thee, God, and also to you for coming on. You are so great, so special, people. Let's bring a few of you. Time is of the essence. Peter, one day, Crown Hill Community, Bapin Paul Lee, Johnsonville, Musa A. Sharif, Congo Town, Patrick Nangbe, Providence, Rod, USA, Setu Jabo, Mamata Son, ELW Eppinsville, David Givler, Mandra Market, Waterside, Lasana Rogers, Venetians Bar, New Crew Town, Claude ACN Menza, Dambala Town, Pokpa District, Grand Kipman County, Philip Tokwa, Dallas, Texas, USA, Paris, Slobod, New Jersey, USA, Tobasi, Nevet Pevet, Morovia, Joseph Weir, Freeport of Morovia, Reti Bleedy, Jukonti Chie, Jumon Colley, Rita Christine Hayes, Massachusetts, USA, my dear sister Orita Sonny Choir, the chairman himself, Roma Rico, Kenny Ball, Latu Pound for short. All of you great people, welcome. Francis McGill. Let's have a wonderful info time. Okay, so let's start out of Liberia briefly. Before we get started, let's go out of Liberia and bring you a few developments unfolding in other countries. Then we face what we've got in Liberia, the mystery country, the country that is cocaine prone, cocaine driven. The country is on cocaine in cocaine factory. One of the opposition members then of Unity Party said, under the Weah government, the country was on a sick bed. The country was sick. So we say, under President Boakai, the country is in the cocaine factory. The country is cocaine driven, cocaine obsessed, cocaine prone. It is a cocaine state, a narco state. Ghana has explained why it declined a state visit request from South African President Cyril Ramaphosa as anger grows over recent xenophobic violence in South Africa. Ghana says it wants to avoid public backlash as emotions remain high. Despite the decision, Ghana says diplomatic ties between the two countries remain strong. A senior UK politician has sparked a serious row after suggesting that Kenya and other former British colonies should compensate Britain for its colony past rather than Britain paying reparations. Former UK Home Secretary Sula Bravima argued that the British Empire had helped build infrastructure, institutions, and systems of governance in its former colonies, and said there was no legal basis for modern Britain to pay reparations for slavery and colonialism. And Burkina Faso military-led government has approved a new measure requiring students to obtain formal authorization before pursuing higher education abroad, in a move that has drawn criticism from human rights groups. The decree, adopted by the Council of Ministers, will apply to all Burkinabe students seeking to study overseas, whether they are funded through government scholarships, private sponsorships, or personal funds. Authorities say the policy is intended to improve oversight, protect students from fraudulent institutions, and align overseas education with national development priorities. However, Human Rights Watch argues that the requirement could restrict the rights to freedom of movement and education, raising concerns about how approvals will be graded and whether decisions could be applied selectively. Those are some of the developments unfolding out of Liberia. Let's get to some of the events unfolding here. The trending issue. The government wants it to get off the lips, the hearts and minds, or stop talking about it. But ironically, the government itself is elevating the drug debate every day, every minute, every second. The government is elevating, the government is taking it to another level every day. When the government thinks it is suppressing, neutralizing, attempting to stifle voices, especially realistic, critical voices of the cocaine, they take it to another level. Until President Bouaka can come to the realization that one of his problems is the Ministry of Information or the Ministry of Information, he will always find himself in a confused state, as they are already in confused state. The Ministry of Information is inept to the core. And thank God everybody's saying it, because the man who is there, along with his people, they were very vocal. Jeremy Lepia will sit in America and write a dossier of everything wrong in their opinion. The man comes to Liberia, he trumpets all over the place. Then Bouaka can even do. George Weah messed the country up. George Weah will never come back to power, and on and on. Here is the Minister of Information who claims to know it all, has placed their very government in an inept manner, a serious predicament that they think they are suppressing the cocaine case, or that people shouldn't talk, or they don't want, or they're dismissing, or they are propagandistic. Ironically, they aren't. Every day they make things hard for Joseph Yema Bouaka. Come to think of it, you tend to wonder whether President Bouaka is independent of thought. No disrespect. The same question was asked yesterday by these same people to George Weah, because they felt that Weah was not taking independent decision. That means he wasn't reasoning within himself. So we asked the same question, because the Ministry of Information is that arm that should be giving information, helping the Joint Secretary, helping the police director, helping just everybody in the proper dissemination, explanation of this whole investigative case, how it is going on and on. That's how a government arm that is responsible for dissemination of information does. Ironically, the Ministry of Information has become a ballistic, bombastic institution. It's in a warfare instead of explaining, so that at least the people down the line, other than the educated or the average ones, will have an understanding. You have the minister, Lambasti, saying all manner of things. His deputy comes to add insult to injury. And they think they are solving the problem. They're just making matters worse for President Joseph Yeman Boakai. You see, people who claim to be educated, the rescue, is that a rescue position? Come on. Yesterday, I told you people, yesterday when they were in opposition, when the 100 million drug case came out, oh, Ronnie CA was the best friend, was the good friend. How politicians are so sycophantic. Ronnie CA was praised, hailed, cherished, loved all over the place by these same people that Boakai brought into his government. And Ronnie CA reported to the core the 100 million dropped. Today, Rodney CA is reporting on their 19.2 million that turned Liberia into a manufacturing state for cocaine. They have turned to him, insulting him, calling him blackmailer and all kinds of names and descriptions. Simply because he is not portraying it as they will want, like nothing is happening, or the government is doing well with the investigation and the government is not involved at all. Now, Unity Party, right there, they now turn to Rodney CA, insulting him, calling him all kinds of names, putting all kinds of descriptions on him. But it doesn't change anything. They can insult Rodney CA whichever way. They can go to his family. They can do all kinds of stuff. I told you yesterday, Rodney CA is no respecter of government. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had this drug issue. Rodney CA stood up to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her government. Former President George Weah and the Congress for Democratic Change had the 100 million drug. Rodney CA stood up to the occasion. What makes you think that Rodney CA would not stand up to this government? This government is too weak to the core, too weak, weakling government. They don't have thick skin. They're soft. They're too petty, too tiny. Things that they were doing yesterday, they face it today, then they vex. Everything Unity Party is vexed. You tend to wonder whether it is normal. Everything about Unity Party vexed. They were in opposition. They were coming up with all kinds of stuff. Seditions weren't vexed. The government weren't vexed. The government will just tell them, do this, do it this way, follow the law this way, and all of those. They are in power. They vexed. They're insulting all over the place. What will President Boakai say now? Is President Boakai sanctioning insults now? Because the people who should be refined in their description, in their explanation, responsible to disseminate the information, tell the people what is happening, how things are happening, what the government is doing with this drug case, how the government is investigating, and all of those things. Instead of saying those things to the people so that they would know, they told the Ministry of Information to ring insults against anybody who talks about the 19.2 million drugs. And you call that place Unity Party Information or arm? No, that is an elementary arm of the government. Too elementary, too petty, too tiny. Unity Party people, y'all like it or not, y'all can get vexed. But that is the reality. Yesterday, you people said that CDC government at the Ministry of Information appointed by George Weah, those people he appointed were not communicating to the people. They were all concerned about themselves. They were showcasing themselves. Here you are today. You find yourself at the very Ministry of Information. The only thing that the country is getting from the Ministry of Information is insults, is derogatory description. Where is President Boakai to speak to this now? Where is the Chief Justice who said that they were using the law to clean society based on that they put Prophet Key in jail? So the law is only for insult and only for Prophet Key in jail. The police director went to the Senate and looked at it, gave in senator and insulted him. Daniel Sano, before today, or before yesterday and today, look at a leading opposition figure in Samuel Twe and said Samuel Twe was reckless, he talks loosely, he is mentally unstable. At this point in time, President Bouaga is not saying that the people should lower the temperature of the discourse. So he's not saying that he's enjoying it because his people are raining insults. They are very, very unruly. Now, when the people start to react, what will he say? What will he say? The Ministry of Information has just given a new, or they continue to elevate this whole drug stuff. Every day you're keeping, oh, listen, when we tell you don't be politically, look, guys are digging on a Bouaga. They both want Bouaga to fail. Bouaga, he know the trap. He know the trap. He know the political game that is playing. He's excited because he's president. He had always wanted to be president, so he's president and he's happy. And then they put down this jargon or this cliche on him, building the country, fixing the country. We'll fix this country. Everywhere you go, we'll fix this country. He know what the guy's on. They cannot tell anybody anything about insult. Now the guys are getting ready. The guys are getting ready. I should tell you, the guys are getting ready. We saw the right out. We heard conversations. We intercepted some conversations. The guys are getting ready to go Guata. That's what they say. The guys said they are going Guata. Going forward, they will listen to nobody. They dare the police director to come and arrest anybody if they're expressing themselves. They dare President Bouaga to say anybody is coming to get bitter. Because it looks that President Bouaga is the president, but he's not in charge. How can you get a Ministry of Information? The same Ministry of Information was taken to the Senate. What happened after Senator Snow raised the issue? The following day, they got against Senator Snow again. They rain insults on him. They defy him. The Ministry of Information under the Unity Party government is more childish, irresponsible, reckless than any previous government. They are not disseminating anything. They just wait when somebody says XYZ about the government or express themselves as they entitled to. They see that person as enemy of the state, enemy of Unity Party, and they're ready to gang up against them. You have to respect people's opinion. Your responsibility is not to go reacting. The Ministry of Information is not a reactionary institution. The Ministry of Information is the government dissemination arm. That's why they say Ministry of Information. The same people, and I will continue to say it because I know Jerry Limepia can deny it. When I was coming up, I had the opportunity to report as a signed reporter at the Ministry of Information. Jerry Limepia was there as one of the deputy ministers. And he know that I honor my assignment very well. It came a time they stopped me. Whenever I put my hand out to ask questions, they say, oh, Semaju, wait, man, put your hand out, you like asking plenty questions, all kind of stuff. Jerry Limepia was over there. The only thing they were doing, they would take the newspapers in the morning, look at it when somebody said something about the government of former President Sirleaf, the president herself, or any minister, forget it. They will open their arsenal and they were released. That's all they were doing. They were not disseminating the government information. So people did not know what Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was doing until former President Sirleaf herself, president in her capacity then, because I'm referencing then, she called them. She called them and told them that, look, instead of raining insults on this person, saying this, saying that, you want to disseminate, tell the people, come down to the people level. There's LBS live stuff, the way it started from. And the reason for that, for carrying the Ministry of Information press briefing live, so that everybody will have an understanding of what the government is doing, what the government has done, what the government intends to do, how the government is moving, what is unfolding within the president's office, out of the president's office, what the president has done, the trips the presidents have made, the trips he intends to make, the dividends coming from those trips, and all of those things. That is the essence. You look at the act that brought the Ministry of Information into existence. Nowhere it said the Ministry of Information, the function of the Ministry of Information is to react to everything that unfolds, or to be bombastic at opposition. It's a information dissemination. That's why when the CDC government came, they looked at it and said, the information component, information dissemination component is different. Therefore, let's distract the cultural component from it. Let it not be the Ministry of Information, Culture, and Tourism. And Gray was pushing that to extract that component from it, because that is a different sector. And then you only have that component within the Ministry of Information. The Minister of Information disseminates alongside his principal deputy or deputies. They are not to create any problem in a reactionary manner. Today, you can see that the Ministry of Information is the lowest of all government institutions in terms of performance. No wonder President Bouakai is honoring institution, giving them credit. He hasn't given any credit to the Ministry of Information. It's because they have reduced the ministry to costing ministry, just as Senator Edwin Snow said. They are obsessed. They are obsessed with people. They cloud themselves with people who express their opinion. They are just vindictive within themselves and the thing that they are communicating. When you are vindictive in yourself, people who express their opinion on issues or things around you, you get angry. The next thing you're ready to act, you put on that temper tantrum, because this is the point that leads to something else. And that's what you see at the Ministry of Information. They're not helping. They're not helping themselves in this whole thing. They continue to elevate the cocaine case. They continue to elevate. We find it very right, very good for them to be cursing all over the place, giving awful descriptions all over the place. That way, the debate will be widening and widening. Every day is a discussion on it. It will be widening. We've gone 1 month into this thing. Technically, we've gone 1 month. And we're in July. It will drag all the way up to 2027. In 2027, we'll still be talking about the drug case. You know who will push it to 2027, who giving it long lifespan? The very government. The very government, nobody else. The very government is not opposition that elevating it to the letter. The government is giving the opposition the substance to keep it alive by the many contradictions in the whole investigation. So they can continue insulting, say all manner of things, but we thank them. We thank them for keeping it alive contradictorily, because they continue to contradict themselves every day, whole day. They continue to insult. The insult from now to judgment, they will not change it. It will not stop people from going to the bottom of it. Not at all. They can continue to insult. Insult does not say you are right and the other people are wrong. You think this drug something that something to overlook, and then you sit at the Ministry of Information. You reduce yourselves. Reduce yourselves. When nothing to say, you sit down. You just sit down with nothing to say. Honorable Minister and Honorable Deputy Minister, with nothing to say, you sit down. Or there are plenty of things to say in the Liberian parlance. There are plenty of things happening all over this place in your government. You can talk about those things. You're forced to talk about drug. You're forced to talk about the cocaine. It doesn't say that you're not aware. No, be like your friend ministers, information ministers out of the country. A drug case like this, they don't just go ranting all over the place. They know when to speak, how to speak, and for what reason they should speak. This thing, it has gone. Just so you United Party people know, it has gone beyond. It is more than a criminal investigation. It is more than a criminal investigation. Don't live with that illusion that it stay at the level it was from the onset. It has shifted. It has gone to another level. It has now become the test of Liberia's aviation credibility. You heard the situation with Delta Airline. Even though they tried to dismiss that and say it was 2020. From 2020 to 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, why we didn't hear that? Why we didn't? And then you get the vice president is alleged to have come into this thing through a pictures. And then the Minister of Information goes to say the vice president is a unique man, a decent character. The vice president cannot get into drug. Did anybody say the vice president is into drug? Nobody said the vice president is into drug, except you people can insinuate that. Nobody have ever said the vice president is into drug. Rodney C. said he's seen several pictures of one of the drug lords, one of the cocaine lords, and Anthony Mangibi Denukai. Therefore, in terms from logical reasoning, you want to explain your side of the whole something. Again, the minister of Information got vexed. He took to their platform and started again. Those who are calling for the VP to clear his side. Say, oh, the VP is a unique man. The VP is a clean character. The VP is not the kind of person. Nobody's saying the VP is not a decent character. The VP is a decent character, a very decent man, yes, but he finds himself in several photos with a cocaine lord. Doesn't it make sense by any parity of reasoning, logically, for the president, the vice president to explain himself, distance himself, which we have seen all over the place, all over the world? Why would it take to say, yes, I know this man, but the insinuation is far different. It is just an insinuation. These photos were taken at different times at different locations. Finish. Nobody will go beyond that. Nobody will go beyond that. that closes that chapter. You just say, yes, I know the man. The photos that are out are photos that were taken long before this time at different events, different purpose. And you see, all of when everything is so political, or when the atmosphere in the office, out of the office is political, you don't know how to explain. That statement put out by the vice president office it's too low, and it indicted. Once it indicted, it brought the vice president close. How you say, I reject? I do not know the man. Then the man comes back and say, I know. We are partners. We supported the unity party. We work together every day. So it is not what PR said that will leave people not insinuating with the VP. It is not what he said. No, it's not what he said. All he needed to have said today, if it is true, those photos is incumbent upon the vice president to explain. The vice president will give a news conference. He was explaining, because that's what you do. That's what the Minister of Information or Press Secretary or the Vice President office. They think I want to teach you again. That's simple thing. We close of those kinds of things. We're not hastening to make a statement. Me, I ran that situation. My advice would be, hold on. Don't run to the public. You will be complicating things. You might likely indict yourself. Studied all of the signs, analyze the event very well, put all the bits and pieces together, and then in the fullness of time, you can give a public address. From that public address, the public will know the difference, and they would say, yes, the vice president is not involved. His explanation shows no link whatsoever. But you run. The thing was said in the morning, the office of the vice president reject any, not looking at those photos, not even thinking about those photos. Because when you hasten, that's why God said in James 1:19, you read it. He said, be slow to speak, quick to hear. Meaning, don't hasten to speak. Analyze before you speak, so that when you give your position, everybody will say yes, it makes sense. There is sense in this thing. That's why he said, be slow to speak, then he said, slow to anger. Don't put emotion into it. The vice president's statement had those three things. They were not slow to speak. They rushed emotionally. And so everything got clouded. What PR was doing today was just considering the discussion. But he did nothing extra. Just to say the vice president is a decent man. Who does not know that the vice president is a decent man? Who does not know that the vice president is a clean man? Everybody knows that. And everybody respects the vice president. And no one has ever indicted the president, or the vice president, or brought the vice president close to anything. So the Minister of Information did not say anything extra. He only compounded. He compounded the whole situation. That's what he did. Now, that will lead me to the position taken by the religious leader of Liberia, the Bishop of New Water in the Desert Assembly, Kotu Brown. Kotu Brown has never mixed his words on national issues, apart from his community, the church. He has always, as a stakeholder, as a protector of Liberia's democracy, Bishop Kotu Brown has never shied away. He has never muted himself. He has received over the time several backlashes from the government, and many had thought that he was going to remain silent because most of the people in Liberia, once you say something and government comes out to, or a government official comes out to lambast you, you see that person goes in coma. But he hasn't gone in coma. Every time an issue unfolds, he gave a thorough analysis of it, and then he gives his position. Honestly, and this is what I observe, I do not know about the others because I have not heard, but I have heard, read, listened to Bishop Kotu Brown on several occasions on national issues. He has never missed his words. He doesn't shy away. I think he knows that besides being a religious leader, a bishop, he is a stakeholder of this country. He is a protector, like every one of us, of Liberia's democracy. And to remain silent is cowardice. So he will come out. What did he say? He told the vice president to do the needful. Simply put, come out, give a news conference, explain your side to the media. In such a situation, it's all but fair that you explain your side and not to rely on a press statement. He asked the vice president to do just that. Now, who within the religious cycle of this country can muster that courage? Not a minister, not deputy minister, not assistant minister, but the vice president. Who, what religious leader in this country can muster such courage? He has told the vice president, come out, explain yourself, let the people know that your relationship with this man, let the people know whether you have a relationship with him or not. So Bishop Kotu Brown called on the vice president to give a news conference, explain to the media, explain everything that you know. And I think it's a fair position. Explain everything that you know. Because the more you hold back, suspicion rises. And once the suspicion becomes so strong, the people will believe everything, and no matter at the time you will move to make a clarification, it will not resonate with the people. It wouldn't. Thanks to Bishop Kotu Brown. And not only that, he called on the government to ensure that the investigation is free, fair, transparent, and credible, that it borders on the country's credibility, and that the government should do the needful by providing an impartial investigation. Then this will take me to the communication. The two senators are dead serious with this cocaine issue, this cocaine case. The two senators, Senator Amara Conan and Senator Edwin Melvin Snow. They have raised several reservations about the way the investigation is going. They have raised serious concern that they are not satisfied with how the investigation is going. They, in their statement, they are convinced of a cover-up, a contradictions, and a lot more. In their statement, they said, the seizure of approximately 237.6 kilograms of cocaine at B. Roberts International Airport underscores a grave threat to Liberia's national security. It exposes serious concerns regarding Liberia's rule of law, broader security, and public safety. While we commend paragraph 2, commendation, paragraph 3, commendation, and then the most serious paragraphs. However, the circumstances surrounding this investigation raise troubling questions that deserve clear and credible answers. According to information released by the authorities, 2 persons of interest, listen carefully, Oscar Brown and Paul J. King, were outside Liberia when the investigation commenced and were subsequently declared suspects. At the same time, it has been alleged that Michael U.S. Brown and Emmanuel Kwa were present in Liberia during the early stages of the investigation. Yet, the authorities told the world that naming persons of interest would compromise the investigation, but made us to believe that they were in control of the situation. If dates was accurate, it raises an obvious question. How were these suspects able to evade arrest? Meaning, why? How did they escape? They were here early. The investigation started. D.A. Bosse said persons of interest. Justice Minister said persons of interest. And then they were moving to suspects. How come within such a period, a short time, how come these guys cannot be seen? They can't get hold of them. How they left the country? The 2 senators again came back to say the Liberian people deserve full transparency regarding whether these individuals were under surveillance, whether operation failures allowed them to escape, or whether other circumstances contributed to their departure from Liberia's jurisdiction. Simply put, drugs worth approximately US 19.2 million reportedly entered Liberia and were on the verge of being exported through Liberia's only international airport. Yet, despite the magnitude of this case, no persons of interest that the authorities knew but could not name, and of course, no suspect appears to have been physically arrested by the national security agencies, even though the officer in charge of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency publicly informed the nation that there were persons of interest in custody. The marginalized Fitzgerald Biago, he's sitting down. He has absolutely nothing to do with this. So the 2 senators will ask some critical questions, which I thought to share with you, having lay that basis. One, who financed the importation of the drugs? Who financed? Who provided the money? Where did the money come from for the importation, the processing, taking it from one point to another? Who is the financier? The investigation has to go there. Serial minor investigation, they go into all of these things. That's how you go to the bottom. If it was taken from this microphone to the computer, not only was it facilitated by a person or that a person thought the idea and shared it, but it was transported, moving from this end to that end. Who did provide the money? How did the cocaine enter Liberia by air, sea, or land? How did it enter Liberia? Where was it stored? Well, we know the investigation said First King's house. First King's house. But their question is, where? Where was it stored? The investigation told us First King's house, which they refused to call it off. That was a crime scene, a drug scene. They refused, the government refused to call that off. Listen, there are too many messy situations with this 19.2 million cocaine. Then Unity Party people will reference CDC. CDC government, we saw everything legal. You have in your government investigation confirmed that this man, First King, had the drugs in his house. After proving yourself as being afraid of drugs and imputing or accusing George Weah of killing almost all of the young people and infesting grown-up men and women in this country with drugs, you use that as one of your strong campaign messages, and you won the hearts and minds of the people. In your government, a rescue government, a government that said it rescued the country, refused unregrettably to declare Paul King's house a crime scene, even though the government investigation said the drugs were still in a man's house. They refused. We never seen that one before. Never. I can see why President Bouaka said things will happen in this country that have not happened before. Truly. A rescue government refused without regret to declare that place, Paul King House, a crime scene. The first time since God created the war, Liberia is the first country on earth with such history that the man, they say, one of the main exporters or programmer, declare him as a suspect who should have been arrested, will walk to a police station, the headquarters of the Liberia National Police, with his water in his hair, his fire, with his lawyer. The first country in the world, in the whole wide world, it has never happened any part of the world since God created the world. Liberia is the first country. Thank God that President Bouaka said things will happen in this country that have never happened before. Many unprecedented things. It is unprecedented. Nowhere in the world, drug suspect. Let's assume this event is out of Liberia. Less than no time, Paul King House is cutting off, armed men all over, down to all the occupants in the house. They stay in the house, they're not moving, or the government will round everybody up and take them into protective custody. The man himself is unhandcuffed and taken into police custody, government custody. Why? They do their forensic investigation. Do you know that a forensic investigation should have gone at Paul King's house? Do you know that all of the neighbors over there, that entire place, everywhere, that whole community should have been calling off? You think the cocaine something that drug, the most deadly, that cocaine, the most deadly of drugs, that cocaine, serious minor contract, as we have seen around the world. That community is sealed up. They will run people up. Why you think the DEA people, when they go raid, and they can catch people around there, you see them moving besides the house they go to, and you see them going into other places in nearby area? Why? Because of the suspicion. They want evidence. But they refused. They refused to do that to First King. The man all by himself walked to the police station with a mineral water bottle in his hand, taking zip, a fire in his hand, a lawyer side hand, and other people. What kind of serious country, serious government can do that? A drug suspect? A drug suspect walked to a police station? Let me conclude the questions. Who coordinated the logistics of the operation? Who coordinated the logistics? All of those technical things, the materials and all this stuff that they will derive at a description. They say chicken soup. Chicken soup, Maggie Q. Huh? Who coordinated? Who was responsible for the logistics? Somebody. It's not just announcing that First King has been arrested and has sent to court. Even the people who covering, the trial, the media people who are covering, they are not asking the hard questions. They are only doing surface reporting. Say, sure, Paul King has been taken to Monrovia City Court. Paul King has been taken to Monrovia City Court. That's all. Besides that, nothing. So you're not getting to the bottom of it. The government finds it comfortable to bully the media because the media is not asking the hard questions. Not all now. I mean, those ones that just put camera off, showing Paul King. Then the next question: which financial institution or institutions or other entities were used to lender the proceeds to give money? The proceeds. Who are the additional local and international collaborators? Does it have anybody linked from the international community or outside Liberia to say that way? Is it? You want to know all of this. That is why the government used the word transnational. That's why the government used the word transnational. You want to know. You just use words just so the people who don't know, they say, oh yeah, that's serious thing, yeah. Those are things that you go to the bottom, every area, but they are not doing it. They are not doing it at all. So they think that, come on, we can kill it, even though the police director say it is not the end. The arrest of Paul King, First King, is not the end. They will pursue the rest of the guys who are out of Liberia. But, well, we wait to see if that going to happen. We'll wait to see if that's going to happen. All right. So let's talk now. July 17th, the Civil Society assembly, peaceful assembly, non-violent assembly, the Civil Society assembly, non-violent assembly. It is constitutional. It is not forbidding. The law provides for that. They have their right. It is democratic. That's what democracy is all about. The government failed the MCC scorecard. The government failed in the rule of law. The government got F in the rule of law. Within that rule of law, you have respect for people's right, people's assembly, freedom of speech, and on and on. When those things are stifled, then you are not a democratic government. You are not a human right government. You do not respect fundamental human rights. Therefore, another litmus test for the government, this is July 17th, is another litmus test for the government. Why am I saying it this way? So that you are motivated. I'm challenging you. It is your right. No one going to stifle you. No one going to bring tear gas outside or water cannon and spray you people. The Constitution provides that the people speak to the government. They petition their government. They can alter, and so which that is inherent in the people. You are more powerful than the government. The government isn't powerful than you. You are powerful. That's why the Constitution say all power, not some power, not few power, not a power, but all power is inherent in the people. That is why you have the electing power. Without you, President Boakai wouldn't be president today. You made President Boakai president. He went to you because he knew and knows that you got the power. All of those people who are in the legislature, they knew you got the power, and so they went to you. Turn out. Today is the 7th. We are getting close. They will discourage you. I should tell you ahead of time the strategy they have put in place. This time around, they will not use hard fist. That means coming with the power, the military might, the police might, every other thing. Because what came from the MCC, they want money, they want that money, but they are on a test. They fail in a major component, rule of law. Not only that, another major component the government failed in. What did the MCC scorecard say? That the government is disjointed, meaning no organization whatsoever. So it means that the government is not really systemic. It's not really a system-driven government. This person doing this, the institution doing that, they don't see any coherent. So again, it's another test. When these things come out, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You are testing the government, and the government is afraid because that's how they get money. If they stop you from exercising your fundamental right, your constitutional right, your human rights, if they stifling upon your democracy, countries watching, they will stop funding to this government. They will stop funding, and they will make it clear that the government is not democratic. The government does not respect freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of association. The government stifles these things. These are very key elements by which governments around the world get money. Don't be afraid. It is a litmus test. Don't be afraid. Turn out on July 17th. Whether it rains, the rain heavy or not, turn out. Raise your voice. Speak loud. Let the government know. That way you can change the behavior pattern of the government. You have the power. You have the might. You have the ability. You got everything. That power, according to the Constitution, is inherent in you, the people. It said all power is inherent in the people. It did not say all power is inherent in the vice president. All power is inherent in the president. All power is inherent in the senator and the representatives. All power is inherent in the ministers. No, it said all power is inherent in the people. Unless, except that you would think that you don't have the power. Don't put on any fear. Don't put on any fear. The government will come out with intimidatory tactics to get you afraid. You will hear the Minister of Information giving a government position, you're on sick permit, you must do this, and this country has been peaceful. There will be no protest here. Don't mind all of those things. The international community is watching and waiting. President Bouaga government, or when they were in opposition, they protested. People respected their rights. They protested. The government allowed them. They were in denial. They defied the government when the government said, do not protest because of these reasons. They said, no, we will protest. And they used as justification for coming out to protest the very Constitution. They quoted the Constitution. You have that same Constitution. The Constitution, the same yesterday, today. The same Constitution yesterday, the same Constitution today. Don't be afraid. They are on the brink of losing substantial money from the United States government. The US government is watching them carefully. They fail in the rule of law. They fail in governance. And this is another test. Let the police director come out with his people and start to beat people, prevent people. You will hear the United States government explaining why they will not give that $500 million that they want to. They will tell you that the government has failed in this, failed in that. Therefore, they cannot give that money. It is when the government is tolerant, when the government is tolerant, when the government is open, when the government can respect the rights of people, the citizens, when the government can enhance, increase the atmosphere of free speech, freedom of assembly, that the international community can grade that government as being tolerable, as being democratic. These are fundamental elements that they look at and determine whether the government is dictatorial or the government is democratic. Since the Unity Party government came into being, they have never been tolerant of free speech, freedom of assembly, none of those things. They have stifled free speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of the press. When you talk, once it doesn't suit, it doesn't meet the taste of a government official, they start to lambast you and want to sanction you. Yesterday, they were not being sanctioned. Yesterday, they were on various radio stations, very vocal, and their views were honored, their position was respected, and they enjoyed. That is why President Boakai inherited a unique free speech, freedom of assembly, free press sector. The very international community credited the CDC government. People will go on radio stations and criticize President George Weah anyway, anyhow. It became so heated going into the 2023 elections. People were worried. You hear people say, oh, the president will send people to that radio station. Oh, listen to the thing the people talking about the president. What kind of country yes so? Not a single officer went to any radio station. Everybody sat on a given radio station as per their wish. They wrote in newspapers as per their knowledge of the situation. They did their podcasts. They were vocal. They call it propaganda then in opposition. The government of President Weah did not stifle free speech, did not dismantle freedom of assembly. Instead, he encouraged. And what did he say? It was the right of the people to petition, to assemble, to speak to their government. Reconciliation, when Unity Party in opposition was causing trouble all over the place. Again, the president tolerated people's view, opposition view, when he called a meeting of the mind and said, let us sit down and discuss. This is our country. We can have another country other than this country, Liberia. Unity Party people got vexed. That meeting called at the executive mansion did not end well. They walked out. The next one at Moravia City Hall, they walked out. What did they say? They said the position, which was insufficient. History has all of those. It is not to say that the George Weah government was 100% perfect. No, they had their own imperfections, but they did considerably well in terms of tolerating the views of the citizens, respecting citizens' rights. There were a series of protests. You hear the international people. I have almost all of those audios and videos in our gathering. You hear one of the reports from Al Jazeera saying President George Weah, just 1 year, has faced series of protests or several protests. Not Liberian, no, not Liberian, but foreign organization, foreign press would say President George Weah, just 1 year in office, has faced series of protests from the opposition. Just 1 year in office, 1 year. Unity Party was on 24/7, causing problem all over the place. Please listen.
Thousands of Liberians assembled on Capitol Hill for the much anticipated Save the State rally led by activist Henry Costa and the Council of Patriots.
We are not happy with the state of affairs in the country, but
Days earlier, Costa addressed the media to echo demands that President Weah meet with his group to answer questions and provide a blueprint for improving the economy and lives of ordinary citizens.
demanding that governance and economic reforms be made in order to improve the conditions in our country, which are worsening. We waited patiently for several months and no action has been taken.
Costa says that the refusal of President Weah to meet with the Council of Patriots illustrates that the president has no interest in the well-being of his fellow citizens.
That is the first. Here's the second.
Anti-riot police was out in force in the capital Monrovia to stop a major anti-government demonstration on Monday. But that was before opposition leaders announced a week-long postponement of the protest. The rally was...
What leader or leaders did he say? Opposition leaders. Opposition leaders. President Boakai should be very grateful to the opposition today. He should be very, very grateful. If I were President Boakai, I would say to the opposition, thank you. Let's work together. And if I were close to President Boakai, I would tell him, look, Mr. President, these people are not your enemies. They are Liberians. You were in opposition. Just look back over your life in opposition and look at your life, meaning leading the country right now. All of these people around you that are telling you that the atmosphere isn't conducive for free speech, freedom of the press, freedom of association, they are plunging your government into something. And he will say that and say, yes, Sam Andrews, you're making sense. But it seems
was before opposition leaders announced a week-long postponement of the protest. The rally was meant to voice anger at the West African country's deepening economic crisis, which organizers blame on President George Weah.
We are proposing or counter-suggesting that we want, as the people of this country, January the 6th, Monday 2020. That is the day that the Council of Patriots wishes to assemble its people.
thank you. 3.
In Liberia's capital, Monrovia, a march to sweep corruption out of the country. Hundreds of people gathered with brooms in their hands for a small protest against a big problem. Corruption is everywhere, says Esther Thompson. She says she has to pay bribes to get her children in school, to get money out of her bank account, or even to get a job. But it's even worse in government.
4.
George Weah is facing the biggest challenge to his leadership. Anger is widespread. Despite a massive deployment of security forces, hundreds of protesters gathered in front of Parliament to show their displeasure. Among them, members of the ruling coalition.
Our economy is down, very down. Our corruption is at the highest peak.
You know the voice very well, eh? Sando Dazo Johnson that Boakai sent to the House, and later on he turned against Boakai.
The justice system is not good. Our people are not happy.
What do you want to say?
Is to awaken the president and the executive branch of government to do those things that are required of him in keeping up the law.
The protesters were demanding to see the president. So when the foreign minister turned up to receive petitions, the demonstrators were in no mood to talk. The mood at this demonstration reflects... The protesters were...
Please listen carefully. Did you get what he said? The president was ready to hear them. President Weah was ready to hear them say, these are my people. These are citizens. These are Liberians. Let's go and speak to them. Yeah. But the protesters say they were in no ready position. But why did they come out then?
Demanding to see the president. So when the
president and the executive branch of government to do those things that are required of him in keeping up the law.
The protesters were demanding to see the president. So when the foreign minister turned up to receive petitions, the demonstrators were in no mood to talk. The mood at this demonstration reflects the feelings of many Liberians. Critics and even some supporters of the president feel let down by a leader they thought will improve the economy. George Weah is only 18 months into his first 6-year term, and he's already...
Did you get it? Danamio, I just told you that many, they're pretty close to 40. Almost all the protests are collected, all because I listen to public leaders and all of those people collect materials and just keep them, because I know one day, somebody will say no, and that record will say yes. Yeah. Less than a year. Please listen to the guy. I think this is Idris, I think his name is Idris. He will call his name at the end of the day, from Al Jazeera.
So when the foreign minister turned up to receive petitions, the demonstrators were in no mood to talk. The mood at this demonstration reflects the feelings of many Liberians. Critics and even some supporters of the president feel let down by a leader they thought will improve the economy. George Weah is only 18 months into his first 6-year term, and he's already Liberians. Critics and even some supporters of the president feel let down by a leader they thought will improve the economy. George Weah is only 18 months into his first 6-year term. George Weah is only 18 months into his first 6-year term. George Weah is only 18 months into his first 6-year term. Into his first 6-year term. Into his first 6-year term. Is only 18 months into his first 6-year term. George Weah is only 18 months into his first 6-year term, and he's already facing resistance. The government says the protests were organized by George Weah's political opponents and did not reflect public anger against his government.
The reason these people are fighting back, who had been in government previously, is because they fear Mr. Weah as a person who's going to unearth all of these corrupt practices of the past. So they are not fighting to ensure corruption. A fight against corruption happens. They are fighting to protect the entrenched hegemony that Mr. Weah removed through his democratic elections.
Ahead of the nationwide demonstrations, internet and social media have been restricted. Government says it's to prevent a breakdown of law and order. Wrecked by 2 civil wars and a deadly Ebola outbreak, Liberia is in the midst of an economic crisis. It's been further exacerbated by the withdrawal of the United Nations peacekeeping mission that pumped hundreds of millions of dollars into the local economy, and a weaker currency, all pushing the limits of patience here. The organizers of Friday's protests say the government has been put on notice, and if conditions don't improve, it's only a matter of time before they hit the streets again. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Monrovia.
Mohammed Idris. And let's stop here.
Several thousand Liberians took to the streets of Monrovia to denounce corruption and rising prices. Tensions had risen in recent weeks after the government said it would not allow any protests before the end of January. It finally changed its mind on Sunday. Opposition group Patriots had vowed to defy the ban. Some protesters brought a mattress, saying they would...
Please, listen to the guy. Listen to this guy carefully. Listen. The government had earlier said no, because of these conditions. Then it came back and said, no, you go ahead. I am playing these international reports to tell you how intolerant the Unity Party government is now, and the CDC government was tolerant, respected the rights of people, was more democratic than this government. That on July 17th, don't be afraid. I've told you people this thing. I know why we're saying it. The Unity Party government, this is a test, the last test. If they prevent people from exercising their right, if they prevent people from exercising their democratic right, listen, Unity Party can go up to pray to God. That 500 million, the one, they will never get it. The United States government has set trap for them. Already the people, you won't get the money. They won't give the money to this government. They set trap for them. You think why they were bold enough to say the government failed in rule of law? The rule of law is a key component, very key component, very essential. That's A+. A+. You think that joke? Why you think government running all over the place, appointing a person 1 year as the head for the MCC office, having meeting with the other person, having meeting with this, all calling people here and there, running here and there. You think what government doing all the thing there? Because that component, they know that it's very key. They tell you you fail in the rule of law. It means that your government is disjointed, your government is intolerant, your government is not democratic. Then the Senate and the Ministry of Information continue to cause chaos and say they disseminating Bwaga's information. Listen to the guy. The man said the government had earlier. Then later on, they back down, meaning they earlier said no. But then they came back and said, no, you go ahead.
Several thousand Liberians took to the streets of Monrovia to denounce corruption and rising prices. Tensions had risen in recent weeks after the government said it would not allow any protests before the end of January. It finally changed its mind on Sunday. Opposition group Patriots had vowed to defy the ban. Some protesters brought a mattress, saying they would sleep in the government headquarters. Police later fired tear gas to disperse demonstrators. Inflation is soaring and civil servants regularly go unpaid. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July. The former football star who had already faced similar protests in June and July. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July. Weah had already faced similar protests in June and July.
Not Liberian, foreigners, foreign reporters catalog how the protests were unprecedented under the Unity Party-led government Unity Party in opposition. The protests unprecedented. You hear the guys? He said, we have faced similar protests, meaning that protest he was reporting on. That protest was another from the previous. There were a series of protests before that one, and it was in succession, June and July. That's why he said, we have faced similar protests in June and July. They were not giving the government chance to breathe. President Bwaga should be very grateful. Very grateful he has an opposition that is not at his neck. You think what President Bwaga saying all over the place, you think that he the one really keeping this country peaceful? You go to play, we build this country. You go, you throw talk. You think that President Bwaga? It's because this country here, the people don't want anything. The people experience so much. The people have a history of what they went through in this country. If the government, if the opposition was doing what Unity Party did in opposition, President Bwaga pressure will go up. When you think to be president a joke, you think that small thing George Weah went through? Even Charles Taylor that had all the guns, all the grenades, all the bazooka, all the BZT, it was still stressful for Charles Taylor. It was stressful for the people who presided transitionally, called the Interim National Transitional Council, Judy Bryant and the late Judy Bryant. It was stressful. It was stressful for Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. When Ellen Johnson Sirleaf left the presidency, she drove herself. What did she say? She said it was like a heavy burden that has left her shoulder. George Weah. It was not an easy thing for George Weah. You know what it means to be president of a country? You think that's fun? When you're vice president, you think that is easy. So much stress, tension, 24/7. You managing everybody, you managing 4.5 million or 6.4 or 6.7 million people. You have to feed them. You have to clothe them. You have to medicate them. You have to school them. You have to do everything as the parent. The lead parent of the people is the president. And how stressful it is. Just imagine in a house as a parent what you go through on a daily basis to take care of a single child, at least to talk about 2 or 3 or 4. It is the same way with the presidency. The presidency is stressful, it's tension driven. You hardly have rest. If you're not strong, your pressure goes up. Do you know that they treat president on a regular basis? Why? Because of the tension, the stress. And then you have to deal with protest here and there, with disenchantment, all kinds of stuff. a president had to have rest. That's why you see President Bouhaka now. He just thought I was an easy thing because he served as vice president for 12 years. There is a vast difference between being a vice president and the president proper. You see what he's going through now? When you're vice president, you can do a number of things. When you're president, you can sanction a number of things. When you're vice president, well, you relax. You're not doing nothing much. So the pressure isn't on you. But once you take on you take on that responsibility as president, it's stressful. He should be very grateful. The opposition has never, one day, President Bouhaka is entering the 10th year. His government should be very, very grateful. Not a single protest from the opposition. Yesterday, President Bouhaka himself sanctioned protests all over the place. They will justify all of the actions. These are but few of the 40 plus. I've just played for you both the audio and the video. You'll see the BBC, VOA, Al Jazeera, Radio Deutsche Welle, all of them were on Liberia. They descended on Liberia. The same Unity Party, they had people in America and other places. They had the human rights man, the human rights lawyer, Jerome Verdier. I know Jerome Verdier, or well, I know the difference between the Neil, whether James Verdier or Jerome Verdier. But I think that Jerome Verdier, that everything Jerome Verdier, they want this, they want that, they want this, they want that, they want this, they want that. You're on BBC. You say, oh, President, we are government is this. The government is intolerant. The man does not know anything of the economy. The man is a footballer. He has just left the football field. The people made him president. You know that way, that kind of soft way of talking. He was on BBC, on VOA, everywhere. Unity Party people were enjoying him. He was encouraging the protest too, because, listen, you cannot be in such a position, even if you disagree with the government, but you will discourage protest. Today, where is Verdier? Verdier cannot talk anything. Verdier cannot say anything, because you know why? He was working on that side. Where is Chris Smith that they were using? And I will say this, whether they like it or not, the United Party government was successful, because we saw it in this country, and we admitting, because we were not out of this country. We were in this country. We saw all of those things. The United Party government was successful in bullying the United States government. They had people in Washington who were telling them, look, this is this, this is that, this is that. You need to do this, you need to do that. When the U.S., when officials of CDC government go to the United States for whatever the occasion, nationally, beneficial to the country, why would they will come up with this thing? Oh, they're going to take photo shoot. They're just photo shoot, nothing happening. They don't have this, they don't have that. All kinds of things. They have people within. They were successful in getting the United States to work in their favor. It wasn't the United States government that announced the sanction against those CDC government officials. It was the United Party officials. How did they get the information? Because they had people inside telling them everything of the way. I'm saying this to you to tell you how President Bouhaka should be grateful. Not that the opposition can do any one of those things. No, they are not things that you need to go to a university and stay there for 4 years to learn it. No, those are inherent traits. Those are situational traits. They are not hard. You don't need 4 years in university to learn that. They did not go to 4 years to learn that. It's that simple. The opposition here can do it. But you have a refined, intelligent, responsive opposition. They are keeping this country stable. They are more intellectual than the Unity Party in opposition. They are more tolerating than. Look at the situation. Yesterday, I think I need to start playing some of those clips that these people were making awful statements, some of the expressions that they were using against President Weah, but it will be unethical to play that on radio. You think people can say that? The opposition can come together and issue a damning statement against the Unity Party government. What would they do? The opposition can come together and call a mass protest, a mass rally. What President Bouaga would do, what Gregory Coleman would do, what the Justice Minister would do, nothing. The international community watching. We will just keep President Bouaga pressure up. The opposition is very, very informed, very educated, let me use one word, mature. The government, Unity Party government, should be very grateful for having a mature, responsive, refined, intelligent, futuristic opposition. They are not chaos driven, like Unity Party in opposition was chaos driven. They wanted destabilization, where in a country you call for the president to step down. What will Unity Party people say if they said President Bouaga should step down? They call a mass protest for President Bouaga to step down. Would they say, right? You can't have a protest like that. That could amount to something different. But yesterday, we must come down. We must come down. You step down. Yesterday, a given senator in Darius DeLong in opposition said that it will stone the president convoy. Who does that? Who says that around the world? And then you continue to move on. You should be very grateful you have a president like George Weah that was very tolerant. Where in the world? Yeah, Uganda there. Uganda. President Yoweri Museveni's son. If the man is satisfied, the man looks at you and tell you that if you're not careful, he will kill you. Where in the world you look at a president, even the United States, you can never say that and you go free. The United States that claim to have the greatest democracy, you can say it and you go free, that will stone President Donald Trump convoy and see whether you wouldn't be picked up for questioning. You had a senator here, Senator Darius DeLong, that sits there today and said, will stone the president convoy, meaning President Weah convoy. And then what did he say? He said, if the EPS return fire or they attempt to shoot, they will not know what guns will come from. Meaning we're prepared to attack if the president ever, his people ever. They both wanted George Weah dead. All those people, you see them, so these Unity Party people, that is why they're still living with that hurt, even though they got the presidency, but they still vexed. They still vexed with George Weah, as if George Weah had been the only president since God created the world and Liberia became a republic. The man turned the presidency over to them, but they still vexed with him. Is it normal? It's not normal. It's just being hateful. You are fighting for something. You say this man was responsible. The man said, yeah, take it now. And you will be happy, but you stay vexed. You stay angry within yourself. You stay wrestling within yourself. Then it's not normal. It's abnormality. It's not normal. So you don't get discouraged. I thought to motivate you people this way, please. Don't get discouraged. Get ready for July 17. July 17, the rain won't fall. The rain won't fall. Get ready. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The government can do nothing to you. The government took prisoners, political prisoners. The government has a record and that one going down in the international community. Another situational report is coming on the government shortly. Again, we're telling y'all from the onset about those things. They say, oh, we opposition people. Oh, y'all let to talk. Until when those reports started coming, then they say, bah. We're telling you again, another situational report is coming out on the Unity Party government. This one going to be very damning. When I say damning, it means the thing that you're going to hear. The thing that you're going to hear be too strong. So don't get vexed. I mean, don't be afraid. Don't get jitter. Get ready. Get your jeans trousers, your t-shirt. Cooperate with the organizers of the July 17th protest. Assemble peacefully and petition your government, your president. Let's get to the line now and take few calls, and that will be doing it for today. 0772 23 99 33 0886 30 44 97. The women's line 0777 980375. Just few cards, and that will be doing it for today. Then we are out. So what is it? They say Argentina and Egypt on today. Okay, Argentina will go through and Egypt will go home, just as Ronaldo went home yesterday. And God Almighty, Ronaldo gone home. Hello.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
How you coming on?
I'm good, Chief.
Andrew, God will continue blessing you. Your children, God will bless you. You're fighting for the nation, and God will reward you here. Andrew, the people there. God will punish in their generation. I'll come here in one all of message. We don't want to put your in the table. 2029. The people then that come and say we are not ready, when they will flock of massive and say, I suffer, no. We put them, they will not get nothing. He said, no, in the military, they keep back. How in the packet? So, like, God bless you. God will suffer the one. Thank you.
All right, Chief. Thank you for calling to have a nice day. Yeah. My man Francis Maggie is Argentina will go through. Brazil went out. Portugal went out, and now Egypt is about to go out. Somebody said the World Cup is not for African countries. It's the white man's World Cup. It's the white man's World Cup. That means they will participate. Everybody will participate in it, but the white man will win it. And then that's it. That's what the person said, and I believe it. Yeah, so let's go few calls, and then we go home. Oh, somebody is telling me that Egypt scored. Is it Egypt 1, Argentina 0? Oh, what's that? All right, let's go to the women's line. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
I come here. Yeah. Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, how are you? Let's hear you, your name. I'm doing good. Let's hear you.
Cynthia. I'm from Johnson there. Yeah, but what you see, Andrew, is right. I say, all these things, what you're talking here, like there's some other talking like that. But we'll continue to be seeing it, to be pushing it. Because we're not suddenly our children, our great-grandchildren will start taking this thing. Then they look, they're saying in the street, people laughing at them. They're with the parents, they will look at some kind of way we feel it with. So when you're talking, I say, we are happy. So continue. And then one thing I want to ask, there's graduate from he the president or he the speaker of the country. For one, how you can get things to the people? And then I ask the question. Then he's doing secret things. For what? Thank you.
All right, madam. Have a nice day. Hello.
Thank you. Sir, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, thank God. We are here. Esmoka and proud member of Council Liberian for Justice. Yeah, that's true. Argentina is training to each year at the end of the first half, so we're still looking to see.
What is it? Is it Messi miss penalty?
Yeah. Well, I saw. I don't know actually. I got it from the net too. I hope it's true. Mm-hmm. Okay. The whole drug story, a new debate continues to emerge on a daily basis, and only because the government is not sincere and the government is not fair to the Liberian people to bring up the factual information. That is why they will all be looking for something to come up, and while the main perpetrators are on the run. Okay, look at the news debate that came out about Saros security firm providing security to the manager of the cargo company, and it's not the cargo company itself. It's a conflict of interest. He is the national security chairperson in the Senate, and you need to turn down all the kind of stuff. You know, then the guy is saying no. So when I begin, Senator, I turn it over. I'm no more in charge. He said, no, it's not. You got to excuse yourself for the investigation to go on. So all of these things, they are just doing it to take our attention from the real issue. Because when the Greco now is seen everywhere in the whole drug scene, because he's a guy that they always use to cover up for them. But I don't know how he will go about doing this, because you talk about facilitator. When they are the main doer, you're not able to arrest one, you're not able to bring forward one. The main one that gave you telephone number, the king now that according to you, you carry him to jail, gave you telephone number, carrying differently, and then when you went to go do your own fast checking, there is another guy that has been seriously engaged with the drug issue need pop up. Where the information? He was in jail, and somebody free him, he is gone, and you tell him that you cannot get it. So where are we at it? And then the one thing about the vice president, the vice president needs to be careful. You need to be clear with the conscience with the Liberian people. Every bad thing in this country, he is associated with it. The last one here has something to say about him. The other one is but no, it's gone already. And then here we are again. Anybody can take picture. No, it's not about everybody taking picture with anybody. This is the vice president of the Republic of Liberia.
Yeah.
Anybody don't just go in his circle to take picture. It has to be somebody that he is known. Yes, it's somebody that he is interacting with. So if you really check the vice president millionaire story, it can't connect. You can't get it. How did he get rich in this country? How did he become millionaire in this country? Is it all your businessman? What kind of business? Is it all oil and gas? What kind of oil and gas? Did he have any kind of oil company in this country? Or did you go buy gas and sell it? That 1 million millionaire? The vice president is associated with something. And this one, the Unity Party people going to drag it into this. And who knows? This could cause things to go to bed finally. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Carr, have a nice day. Oh, it ain't getting serious. Truly, the man missed penalty. Just saying it true. Goalkeeper save it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, 90 minutes to go. 90 minutes. They just few minutes into 90 minutes. The man can stay, do the needful. So really, it doesn't matter whether they leading you or before 90 minutes, you're here, Egypt gone home. All right. So, those of you who were raising concern of not getting the station to where you are, the technicians did come and they made the adjustment. So you need to tell us now whether you're experiencing the same thing. Whether you're experiencing the same thing, because the adjustment was made. We put forth your concerns that you raised, that you weren't getting the station where you are as you used to get it prior to the relocation, or that you are getting it, but it's not too clear. So they came and did the adjustment, just so you know. So you need to tell us now whether it is the same or you're getting it, because if you don't tell us, we wouldn't know. You have been raising, so we told him, and then the guy came and then he went up. So you have to tell us now whether you're still experiencing it or not. Hello.
How you doing, Mr. Andrew?
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
I'm taking very calling for the So Andrew, we process the thing for the airport, not putting behind the party cooking regime. What if they're cooking video would not get tired of the Jesus Christ and stuff. Thank God, the parents coming there and go, when I stop talking about the cooking test. So Andrew, they follow me. But there is the government of the part of this. But there is the day. What I'm saying is the past president and my conversation is a fact. Why I say that all the bad things they my we can move. All the bad things, Mr. Andrew, in the country, what's that to us that it may not be more faster? I can remember 2022 when every other freedom, every player recording for this, Jeremiah study the whole world that is dollar can bomb the movie. If you get out that place, when you want to feel everything, why they made all the property and they get money. Well, yeah, again, motorcycle dying, you might even know what they say the ball was. That machine man die again, you get it, man. Then the issue you were in my game, somebody get it, somebody said to them, into selling kids. The higher so get out, they are region. Here is on this way. What all the property they made, we can move. So, and I would tell people that the government, they're here in the drugs, they say, they buy a they say that without making sense. They bring sense to the table. But they put it again,
All right.
in photo, voting for the photo. So you expect to say, no, Jeremiah who is going to the thing. Well, yeah, when they protested, they passed off, they president, they said, oh, that we are praying, we are in the main photo, what of they got to it. But when we say Jeremiah on the main photo, Jeremiah who is the judge, they say, no. Taking better and I mean to say they said it. But when accusing president, we are today.
All right.
So they just and thank you for the opportunity that you can give us to call on the radio. And for the effort you're putting, will not get time with the.
So what your organization doing now? How your organization is called? Every person that call is say movement for what or
stand and burn for justice.
So what you people doing? What you people doing all these things here? What you're doing as an institution? Or you're just called to say Liberia for Justice and make your point?
We'll get to the station every day. We'll get to the station.
No, we're not talking about getting to the station. There are too many options available to you. What you people doing? You people are speaking to the issues collectively, or she gone off. Okay. So where's my guy, man? Where's my guy? Let me see whether he's here. Then we move to the closing aspect, and then that will be doing it. Where is my guy? Let's have this break. Let's have this break. Then we move to, the caption. And then that will be doing it. So before we end the show, Messi will have scored, Argentina will go ahead, and then Egypt will go home. All of the Shaka demons there, all the anti-Messi, Real Madrid people, y'all will not celebrate. Facebook will not be flooded with Messi criticism. No, that man is noted for turning water into wine. He's noted for performing miracles, unprecedented miracles. Hello.
Hello.
Yep.
By the way of introduction, my name is King Juicy Chili Comedy called Ronnie Stars and Joking. You see the government are in power actually. My people, let us keep speaking because they are wicked people. They came to power. They said when he now became president, then at the end of Liberia, then he said again, when he continued to get to the devil, he will get to the devil. So God is not honoring their presidency. Thank you.
All right, Chief. Let's read a few of the comments. Slarion Blapo said, I believe the opposition is weak in my opinion. If they continue this path, they should forget about 2029. The Unity Party will steal the election. What do you want them to do, Slarion? They should be in the street organizing protests, just like Unity Party did in opposition. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Sam Andrew, how are they?
Fine.
Okay, there is our David Samuel on the legacy of former President we are called Ominga March and the proud member of Concern Liberian for Justice. Mr. Sam Andrew, we have put in a discussion, we talk about Daniel Sano describing Mr. Towe as being reckless. So let me tell Daniel Sano, he's not know who to describe as being reckless. The Sunday brother, this man, the old man was former minister. He didn't know the recorded message in this country where the man was making sure that money was provided for the University of Liberia, nation free. Can regular men do that? Eh? You don't know? So that man is describing such a man as reckless. He's the one that more reckless. The government that he's serving in, the government is drowning into stupidity and confusion. Then you come here to discuss somebody as being reckless. Mr. Towe would never be reckless. Even today, nobody in that information minister that gets compared with Samuel Towe. Nobody. When it comes to contributing to human capacity building in the country, who there, who in our...
All right, Chief. You went off. Hello?
Hello.
Let's hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, thank you. The name remains from something recorded and they do not matter. Yeah, let me appreciate the afternoon for your talking. But you know, I get Korea to get to the afternoon. Yeah, I am very married on the show. The way you can support it, yeah, the way you can support the opposition, I very so I get called to keep you the afternoon.
Oh, the Unity Party there?
Thank you, the Unity Party, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you. I just called to speak to you, man.
So, heading your, eh?
No, I don't. What do you mean now? I just called to speak to you, man. But we are brother. How politics with the power not to be a friend.
But how your Unity Party people look now?
No, I will be looking at I just take them and call you and send money to call you.
Well, but you don't call me. You call to the station. You call into the station. You call into the station.
Yeah, but I'm calling to your personal number.
No. I even want your own personal number too. Your Unity Party people, you people are very funny. You laugh.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my brother.
You know you can enjoy things FM. Okay. Thank you. Nah, you didn't matter. We continue with the comment. Well, I'm seeing the penalty that Messi missed. How will you kick penalty like that? No, man. That is below the power of Messi, man. He gave the ball to the goalkeeper. He gave it to the goalkeeper. Joseph, we are right. You please stop teaching this shameless Waka government. Let things go words so we can get them out of power. Atano Samson said that's why they are suffering. God is beating them. Philip Tukpa, I strongly believe Mr. King House is a drug warehouse and there are more cocaine there. That's why they don't treat the house as a crime scene. Emmanuel Bro writes, this Unity Party government hasn't or isn't showing any seriousness about this busted 19.2 million United States dollars cocaine simply because of the involvement of top government officials in the government itself. Let's not forget that a former executive of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency openly told the world that officials in the 3 branches of government are involved in illegal drugs trafficking and are cartel members. Jala Johnson, the police director, Gregory Coleman, is confused. If Paul King facilitated the crime, then the question is, who committed the crime that Paul King facilitated? Cecilia Yakpaulo said, I really want to know what General Botneke is saying now. All right. Great comments. That's good. Your comments, very, very insightful. Okay. So let's have this break then. But let's just get into it. So George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. Chief, we going on that thing? You okay? Let's respect that. Hello. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for the program. You know, like my friend said, I like the guy, the classes. It doesn't mean that what happened in the government, even if you are university, it doesn't mean all of them are with it. There are some conditions in the government is not going down well with it. So when you are there and the opposition studying almost in us, the others go behind also to portray a thing. It doesn't mean what happened in the government is fine. That's why the bad government. I don't want that brand. But even the president that was there, there are some mistakes. He is there. So second, the second is not bad. The same Putin to all the bond of government. But you know what happened in the government? Who said that drug and that evil? I've read not put his drugs. And then who did what else? If my drugs, I've read export. So if they were not exporting, it's not exporting now, then government know well. Thank you very much.
All right, Chief. Thank you too. Have a nice day. All of you did extremely well. Thank you all for spicing up the show. George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. What Unity Party supporters don't want to hear, it angered them. They get vexed hearing it, but they are excited and expect that we should accept theirs when they say George Weah is not coming back to the presidency. President Joseph Yeman Boakai will not be president 2029. He will be announced out. And just as George Weah served one term constitutionally, so Mr. Boakai will do same. And nobody is doing that. Nobody is making it easy for the opposition, but the very Unity Party government. They are the ones who are giving the people every reason why it is necessary to get Weah back into the presidency, who was very tolerant, who was developmental. Unlike the current president, who has nothing of his own, if he ever had something of his own, is vindictiveness. So they are doing well. They are not sending the message out because President Boakai is doing nothing much. So they got nothing much to say. But George Weah will not come back. It will be in the next war. It will be in his dream. That they have said repeatedly. And as they say it, the very president whom they support is doing nothing significant. It is not easy on him right now. He is running a disjointed government, even though yesterday they said that the Weah government was not an organized one, but he has presently a disjointed government. They are doing it. They are setting the pace, rather. They are setting the pace. They are the very ones who are telling the people why it is necessary to have George Weah back, because the very man is doing nothing and he will do nothing going forward. Whether he contests or not, it is not our business. He isn't the factor. Just so you know, President Boakai is not the factor. No. So if he contests, fine. If he doesn't contest, it's up to him and his people. But he isn't the factor. The factor here is George Weah. George Weah is the factor. President Boakai is not the factor. His people are worrying. They are worrying. They're not too sure. And they want him to contest, but they're not too sure that he will contest. On the other side of the inner cycle, they are excited because they will have the right to move. And whether they have the right to contest if President Boakai is unable, again, that would be like icing on the cake for George Weah, because nobody, Vice President Jeremiah Kun in the place of President Boakai can never, not even in a dream world, beat George Weah. And don't talk about the other people who are not known in this country politically, got nothing to show below Jeremiah Kun. That is why they are fighting. And please know it, George Weah is a force to reckon with, a political heavyweight, an aggressive political figure. The name and the men that resonate with 80 to 85% of the population of this country. It is seen, it is a known fact. The government knows about it. Every supporter of Unity Party knows about it. They can attest to it as they have attested in the past. It is against that backdrop that they are afraid of his coming into the race. And so they are coming up with all kinds of what they call in politics shenanigans to give the people the understanding that yes, President Boakai is doing well and George Weah is not fit. George Weah cannot do anything of a comeback. And it is not working. It is not working. The very government is disjointed. The party is disjointed. The main confusion within the party presently is whether he will contest or not. And if he can contest, who? Already they want certain people, because one of them said, if this man becomes president, all of us who've been with Boakai from day one, who are Boakai's children, will go into exile. So they have already painted a damning picture of that other man's presidency if he will ever get it. So they rather, most of the Unity Party people, I see them going George Weah's way. It's normal defection in Liberia politics. You hear people lambasting the person, saying all manner of things, but they will go on that person's side. You've seen it all over the place. Some of the people who are with Weah, they were lambasting him. They said all manner of things against him. They said that he wasn't fit to be their president. They said that he did not attain the education that they attained. They said all manner of things. Where they are today, they are aligning with him. They are aligning with him. So don't rule out anything of Unity Party, not supporters of Unity Party, not leaning on the side. Alternatively, they will see Weah as an alternative. So let's assume it is George Weah versus Jeremiah Kun, which it can be, just being hypothetical. George Weah versus Jeremiah Kun. Unity Party people already see Jeremiah Kun as an undesirable character. They hold that belief to be evidently true, that if Jeremiah Kun becomes president, most of them will go in exile. Within that same argument, they predicted or they foresee a tribal government, just like the PRC government of Samuel Doe or the NDPL, where it was predominantly Crown people that prompted Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her people and Charles Taylor to unleash their overthrow might against him, and they took him down. The late Prince Johnson, who headed the Independent National Patriotic Front of Liberia, defected from the National Patriotic Front of Charles Taylor. So most of those people, because Jeremiah Cohn can never in any given way, even in the next war, be George Weah. He can. So if the president is unable to contest, they will prefer to swallow the bitter pills and see Weah as the alternative. They will prefer coming under the canopy of George Weah in the CDC than to support Jeremiah Cohn presidency. So the factors working in favor of George Weah is so evident, favorable, positive factors. And so we can say without stupor, without reservation, that George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. It's not going to be an easy road. We should say that. It would be foolhardy sitting here and tell you that it's going to be a walk in the park. No, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Nothing in life is on a silver platter. It goes with struggle besides the planning. But there is every possibility supported by consistency. And Weah had been very consistent. It will be tough, it will be hard, but George Weah and the opposition will triumph over President Joseph Boakai and the Unity Party. Take it or leave it. The atmosphere explains that. We've talked about all of the factors, and we're still talking about, and the Unity Party still increasing those factors in favor of George Weah. Let the Ministry of Information, the minister and the deputy, let them continue to be reactionary ministers. Let them continue to be bombastic and ballistic. Let them continue to be unruly, whichever way they can. Everything that is happening now of the Unity Party, by the Unity Party, favors the opposition. This drug issue is a major boost for the opposition. They don't need to get in the street. They don't need to remonstrate. They don't need to do any one of those things. It is a decision unto the people of this country. And the people are convinced that they were lied to, they were fooled, they were abused, they were exploited, they were used by Unity Party on this drug issue. When they said that George Weah was drugging the children. Today, President Boakai has this 19.2 million cocaine on his head. And no drug is more deadly than cocaine. You have Kush here. Cocaine is the parent of Kush. Kush is
very, 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 very less. Very, very less. Cooch and the others. Because you people don't know or didn't know the various kinds of drugs, you only understood it as drug. And that's what I said. Don't say drugs. If you're saying drugs, you're talking about several. You're not being specific. Drug is, the word drug is a relative term. It's just that you say, when you're saying gore, when you're saying God, you're not referring to the God in heaven, because there are many gods. So that's why the Christians can say, or you hear the people who know and say the Christian God or the God of the Bible or the God of this. Then you are talking about capital G. But if you just say God, you're being relative. If you say drug, you're being relative. You're sounding relative. That's why they will ask you now, which kind of drug? Every time you say something and you get a question back, it means the person is telling you by the question they're asking you back, you're not being specific. So when you say drug, you're not saying cooch, you're not saying kush, you're not saying cocaine, you're not saying any one of those things. It's general, it's relative. If you said cocaine, cocaine is a drug, but a specific kind of drug. And that specific kind of drug is cocaine. The specification is cocaine. And that is what Unity Party has. It's deadly. It's dangerous. It can exterminate a whole generation, which is deadly now. Yesterday they said Kush, because you understood Kush as you understood it. Today, in their government, they have the most deadly one, the most vicious one, called cocaine. Most of you, and this goes for you Unity Party people too, you have smartphones. We are in the age of technology. You have the repository of knowledge before you. Just go there, Google it, cocaine, and you'll see what you get. And then you will say, but my government needs to do this, or I am no longer supporting Unity Party. You Unity Party supporters, you ever thought that this thing will come up? You ever? Have you ever? Well, at least you know now. And that is why everything is working in favor of the opposition. To get President Boakai out, it does not require protest. It does not require lying on people. It does not require saying mysterious deaths caused by Unity Party President Boakai. It does not require getting into the street and pointing tire. You don't need to do all of those things against President Boakai government. No. The main crusader for George Weah's return to the presidency 2029 is President Boakai. President Boakai's lack of leadership in this cocaine case is a unique appetite and positive venture, a plus for the opposition. Simple. The people, in no given way, convinced that what they said against the CDC government was true, but lie, based on what they are saying now. And just so you know, the police director made it clear that was not the first. They had several, because listen to the police director address at the Senate. He did not say that was the first and only they intercepted. He talked about the various transactions and why he had to leave this country to go to Great Britain. So it tells you that it has been the normal pattern under the Unity Party government since they came to power. That Liberia, under the Unity Party government, can be referenced. Listen to me carefully. Watch my words. I said can be referenced. It's different from saying it is. Can be referenced as a narco state. Because if you look up narco state, you'll see that we do not have all of the characteristics that constitute a narco state, but we do have some of the characteristics of a narco state. That's why I said we can be referenced, meaning people can look at some of those characteristics and infer or insinuate that Liberia is a narco state. But we do not have all of the characteristics of what constitutes a narco state, but we have some of the characteristics in this 19.2 million cocaine. They are working for the good of George Weah and the opposition. George Weah returns to the presidency 2029. Thank you ever so much for being with us. That's all the time we've got for today. Real Talk with 5:30. Well, how is it? It's still 1-0. It's still 1-0, or Argentina has redeemed, or Egypt has added. If Egypt scores again, then it means that Argentina is going home. And just so you know, if Argentina loses this afternoon, it wouldn't hurt us as it hurt Ronaldo people. You know why? Messi carried the World Cup 2022. Was Messi that what we will be saying? We get on Facebook and say, but no problem, we won it 2022. Simple. It wouldn't hurt us. And that will be a plus for Egypt. That will be a plus for Africa. Oh, Donzo said 2-0. Oh, then it means that Argentina gone home 2-0. Okay. Oh, 3-0. Oh, Kadi K Pasa will say 3-0. 3-0, then Argentina gone home. So Egypt did well. Okay, they did extremely well. All right, Ronaldo people, y'all can come and say all that you people can say. No problem. No problem. We carry it. We carry it. Messi won it 2-0. That Ronaldo have not won a World Cup. So what y'all can tell? Y'all can tell anything. I went to final with France, one of the greatest countries of European football, continental football, world football, and I won them. So anything, Egypt win, fine. Oh boy, I think now you're confusing me here. I say, Francis, check that team, man. You're confusing me. I see 2-0. Then Lassana say, it say 1-0. You know, some of you ain't watching the game here. You're just relying on other people. Yeah. Kadi say 2-0. Abraham said 2-0. Lassana say still 1-0. Yeah. Brian Diaz say 2-0. So yeah, they say what is it? They say in the words of 2 or 3, it is established, eh? So it's 2-0. So that's it. Oh, they say Egypt just go again, so that 3. But then Argentina going home. No problem. We're separate. No problem. No problem. So let Argentina go. So we'll start the negotiation and complete it to get our ball, Julian Alvarez. All right. But you don't waste your time. Argentina goes out. It will be a plus for Egypt. At least a good record for Egypt. It will go in their record, the poor Argentina or the poor Messi. But it doesn't say they're going to carry the World Cup. That World Cup enough for African. That white men's World Cup. Please accept my racist position. But that's what we have known over and over since the World Cup came into being. Have you ever heard African country lifting that cup? That thing Morocco doing, they will go out. That thing that white people will lift that cup. So you just leave it. I see you. You please join us at 8 tonight, man, when the doctor himself is in the man of the night, the teacher of the line, the light of the nation, the evangelist, and Anthony at law, A.B. William with
face the issues. If God permits, we're back tomorrow. You can join us also on tomorrow morning at 7 when Israel Bowiasie is in with Let's Talk About It. If God permits, we're back tomorrow. Shalom.